everybody. Jason back with another review, and I'm continuing on the Rocky series, and we are on number 5, Rocky 5, and this was made in 1990, 5 years after Part 4. Part 4 was pretty popular, so they had big shoes to fill, and honestly, when I first saw this film, I hated it. And just right off the bat, I like it better nowadays as an adult than I did as a kid. But we'll get into that. So let's go ahead and get into the cast members. First, obviously, is Sylvester Stallone returns as Rocky Balboa. Talia Shire returns as Adrian Balboa. Burt Young returns as Paulie. Sage Stallone is now playing Rocky's son, Rocky Jr. And I do by far like him the best as Rocky's son, as he is Sylvester Stallone's real son. Tommy Morrison as Tommy the Machine Gun. And lastly, they actually brought back Burgess Meredith in a flashback scene, which we'll talk about a little bit. So, all right, let's get right into the plot of it. So, again, I love the beginning of this because it brings you right back into the fight against the Russian. Like, right off the bat, great entrance. And then after the fight, it shows him in the locker room after he's taken a shower. And you obviously see something wrong with him. He's shaking. He's sitting there with Adrian. And he's just not all there. You know there's something wrong with him. You know that he has fought the fight of a lifetime against the Russian. So it's to me, it's a sad scene, honestly, because you can just tell there's something definitely wrong with Rocky. So they all return back to the United States. They fly back. They have a press conference. This is where you're introduced first to George Washington Duke. Right off the bat, he's trying to attempt for Rocky to fight a boxer. He's kind of like a Don King character, the promoter, the boxing promoter, and he wants him to fight Union Kane. Well, right off the bat, Rocky has said no, that he's retired. And we'll see later on the doctors agree to it as well. So basically, shortly after returning home, they actually discovered that Paulie unknowingly had Rocky sign a power of attorney over his entire account. And the money was gone. All the money, the house was gone, the cars, everything was completely gone. And he had unpaid loans that he should have paid. But at the same time, his lawyer says, hey, with a couple of fights, you can get it all back, you can pay it back. Well, unfortunately, he goes to the doctor. The doctor says, you have brain damage. With the brain damage, you will not fight ever again for the rest of your life. Again, it's a pretty sad end to Rocky's, what you feel is the end of Rocky's career. But watching Part 4, you know that this was the case, honestly, that he lived through the fight, but pretty much he got his brains bashed in, honestly. So, again, Rocky retires from boxing. He files for bankruptcy. He has his mansion and all of these belongings auctioned off. His son is taking it very hard, but he tells his son that everything's going to be fine. And they actually moved back into South Philly, into Paulie's old house, the one from the original Rocky, which is kind of cool that Paulie still actually owned this house, and they all move into this to South Philly again. Adrian actually returns working part-time back at the pet shop like she did in the original. So there's a lot of feeling here like the original. That's the one thing that I can look back on watching this that I do like, is you get the feeling as you kind of did in the first one. He's not rich anymore. He lives in the bad part of town. and you can sense it in all these scenes. Paulie actually starts working back at the meat plant again. Also, Rocky makes plans to refurbish and reopen Mick's boxing gym. And that's what happens is actually there's a scene where he is in the gym and he has a flashback in his head. And I kind of like this scene. Obviously, it's supposed to be right before the Apollo fight, somewhere around part 1, and they've obviously grown older. Mickey's completely old. This is right before he passed away in real life. But he gives him this gold glove that he puts on a chain that he can wear that he got from Rocky Marciano. And after this, there's one day they're coming out of the gym, and they meet a young guy from Oklahoma named Tommy Gunn. And Tommy Gunn has seen Rocky throughout his career. He idolizes him, what appears to idolize him, and he would love for Rocky to manage him. And after a bit of being hesitant about it, he actually does manage him. He even brings him home, kind of takes care of him more than his own son. He totally avoids his son, and that's kind of when the son turns pretty bad. He ends up getting in fights with kids at the local school. He meets a girl that is supposedly their girlfriend to these other guys. And he just never gets the attention that Rocky should give him. So the whole time that Rocky's actually managing and going to the gym with Tommy Gunn, actually his son is at the gym as well, boxing as well with some of the other guys. So basically, Duke, the guy George Washington Duke, actually talks Tommy Gunn after all the stuff that Rocky and Tommy Gunn have gone through. They've gone through some fights and won, but the promoter actually pretty much gives him a better deal. Is able to give him the money, the cars, the women, everything. So totally, Tommy Gunn totally turns his back on Rocky. It's pretty sad, honestly. So the fight between Tommy Gunn and Union Kane happens, and Rocky's watching it in the basement, and he feels great, and then Tommy Gunn actually wins, and instead of giving Rocky the credit, he gives George Washington Duke the credit. Again, it's pretty sad. What Rocky's been through, it's pretty sad to see this. So the whole time, all the media and everything, they're talking how Tommy Gunn is a nobody. He's a paper champion. He'll never be anything like Rocky. And Tommy Gunn is actually absolutely upset about this, and he just wants to prove that everybody's better than Rocky. So he wants to get him in the ring. So he actually approaches him at the bar, and Rocky's not interested at all. So basically what happens is they step outside and they actually end up fighting on the street. Rocky, of course, wins. I guess if you can call it a win, honestly, it's not really a win because he loved the guy, but he's trying to prove a point. And that's the end of it. Actually, the end of it shows the son and Rocky running up the stairs in Philadelphia, just like Rocky did in the first, few scenes. And they go up to Rocky's statue, and they end up hanging up together. And the last shot shows downtown Philly, and that's the end of it. And that's it, pretty much, everybody. I mean, looking back at it now, As a kid, I would have said probably 2 out of 10. But I'll give it a 7 out of 10 now, looking back on it. It's not that bad. There is no actual fight at the end of it like all the other ones. And I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't like it as a kid. But looking back at it now, I do like the struggles Rocky has in this one, just like the original Rocky. And that's what gives this one, it gives it a 7, honestly. All right. Thanks, everybody. Go ahead and click right here, and that way you can subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate you if you'd subscribe and share. Over here, I'll go ahead and place a couple of shortcuts to some other videos of mine. So if you click those, you get to those videos. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.